a 2.3 out of 10 rating on IMDb, which is the lowest ever for a Disney princess movie.
You are being led like sheep by this flock mentality of attacking the remake. But have you watched the movie? Weird. Because
when she landed a big role like this and realized that this is not the character that she really wants to portray.
And I feel like, especially with people like this that have like these types of viewpoints, I don't see her coming back from this at all. I think she is totally cooked with this.
Press reviews that are rolling in are just brutal. And people are going as far as thinking that the movie is going to get pulled early from theaters because they're not selling any tickets. And the world is really pointing fingers at Rachel Zegler for all of this.
What happens when Disney's next big star suddenly vanishes from their platform? Rachel Zegler, once hailed as the fresh face of Snow White, is nowhere to be found on Disney. No profile, no movie, no trace. Fans are buzzing, screenshots are flying, and the internet is asking one question: did Disney just erase their own princess? This isn't just a glitch, it's a mystery that's got everyone talking. Let's dive into what's going on and why Zegler's fairy tale might be over. Picture this: you open Disney, excited to check out the latest releases, maybe even catch a glimpse of Snow White.
I never want it to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities I have when I say that this has been the biggest adjustment of my life. Like understanding the way my life operates now, being who I am, and the things that I've been so fortunate to make. It comes with so much ground that I never thought I would be able to cover, and that people think I'm doing poorly, and other people think I'm doing gracefully, and I don't think I'm doing it at all.
The reboot that promised to redefine a classic. But something's off. The Snow White tile? Gone. Not tucked away in a corner, not listed under coming soon, but completely missing. No trailer, no banner, no hint it ever existed. Then comes the real kicker. Rachel Zegler's actor profile, the one meant to showcase her as Disney's newest star, has vanished too. No credits, no photo, not even a blank page, just a digital void. Fans on Reddit started sharing screenshots, comparing accounts across the US, Canada, and Europe, and the pattern was undeniable. This wasn't a bug. Disney had pulled something big, and they did it without a whisper. But there's a lot more to this story, and it's about to get wild. Snow White was supposed to be Zegler's golden ticket, a billion-dollar reboot to cement her as a Disney icon. Instead, it crashed like a carriage off a cliff.
Apart from all of the political controversy started by the actress, so the movie had all kinds of problems creatively and conceptually.
A promo tweet with a political statement. As a result, Mark Platt flew to New York to speak with her in person.
The film scraped a measly $12 million on its opening day, one of Disney's worst starts ever. Critics tore it apart, calling it lifeless, preachy, and weirdly smug. Audiences? They didn't even show up. The numbers were brutal, worse than The Marvels and Dumbo, two films that cost Disney hundreds of millions. Mainstream outlets piled on, with headlines screaming woke flop and predicting one of Disney's sleepiest weekends in history. The movie didn't just flop, it became a punching bag for critics and fans alike. But the real spark that lit this fire wasn't the script or the visuals, it was Zegler herself. And what she did next turned a bad movie into a full-blown disaster. Zegler's press tour for Snow White wasn't just a misstep, it was a viral catastrophe. In one interview, she laughed off the 1937 Snow White story.
So she said she was scared of the original cartoon, watched it once and never picked it up again. She should have watched it a few times and maybe became more familiar with the story. And before the script went through such a dramatic change that it sounds like she had a part in, Disney, an accomplice with that. Obviously, it was their production. You should have, watched it a little closely and maybe stayed a little closer to the original blockbuster, wonderful story written by whoever it was, but produced by Disney.
Calling the prince a stalker and the plot weird. In another, she boasted that her version wasn't chasing love or happy endings but was all about being a girl boss. She even admitted she hated the original as a kid, saying it never resonated with her. The internet didn't let that slide. TikTok erupted with edits mocking her attitude, splicing her clips with the original Snow White's gentle charm. Twitter/X lit up with side-by-side comparisons, showing just how far Disney had strayed from its roots. Fans who once rooted for Zegler's Cinderella-style rise turned on her overnight, organizing boycotts and trending hashtags like woke Snow White. Her words didn't just spark debate, They ignited a firestorm that burned her Disney dreams to the ground. But that's only half the story. Disney's no stranger to controversy, but they've got a playbook for handling it: silence and a clean sweep. Think back to 2020, when Gina Carano's social media post sparked backlash.
Snow White, no longer white, snow taupe, snow beige, snow swarthy, snow's not swarthy. Some kind of sediment or sand that is no longer blanc. This young woman just explained the far more egregious changes to the story than the casting of this out-of-place actress.
You said you were bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
This is the central feature of the movie, is that it's a movie about love, and that she is reawoken by love. They're taking the love out of it. No, it's not about Prince Charming and love anymore. It's about what a girl boss she is. Because that's what little girls dream of. They dream of being a girl boss.
Disney didn't just drop her from The Mandalorian. They scrubbed her from marketing, pulled toys, and erased her name from official press. No statement, no drama, just gone. Sound familiar? Zegler's Disney profile wipe feels like the same move, but slicker. No press release, no explanation, just a missing tile and a blank page. Fans are calling it the softest cancellation in Disney history, a quiet dissociation to protect the brand. Disney doesn't argue or defend, they reposition, wait for the news cycle to move on, and let the algorithm bury the mess. But this time, the stakes feel higher. Erasing a Disney princess? That's not just damage control, it's a statement. And there's more brewing behind the scenes. While Disney was quietly pulling Zegler's profile, her other big project was unraveling in public. Her Broadway debut in Evita was supposed to be her comeback, a chance to prove she could command a stage and shift the narrative. For a moment, it looked promising, headlines softened, fans got curious. But then the leaks started. Insiders whispered about chaos behind the curtain, heated rehearsals, crew walkouts, and a leaked document allegedly calling Zegler uncatchable, volatile, and emotionally erratic. Broadway forums exploded with gossip, comparing Evita to Snow White's disaster. Then came the bombshell. Reports surfaced that Zegler fired her entire team, manager, agent, publicist, even longtime collaborators. Some say she's planning a rebrand, a fresh start with a tighter circle. Others call it a meltdown, a scorched earth spiral driven by pressure and humiliation. Either way, the timing is too perfect to ignore. With Snow White tanking and Evita imploding, Zegler's career is teetering on the edge. But fans have their own ideas about what's really happening. Across Reddit, Twitter/X, and TikTok, fans are playing detective, piecing together clues like a Hollywood whodunit. Some claim Disney's planning reshoots to downplay Zegler's role, with rumors of backup scenes filmed with a stand-in in case the backlash got worse. Others speculate the studio might shelve Snow White entirely, letting it fade into obscurity rather than face more outrage. There's even buzz about a full recast if the franchise ever returns, whether animated or live action. These are just rumors, of course, nobody's confirmed a thing. But the evidence is piling up: screenshots of missing Disney pages, broken links, and blank cast listings. One theory's gaining traction: Disney's not just distancing from the movie, they're cutting ties with Zegler herself. Fans point to her scrubbed profile, replaced with generic promo stills or nothing at all, as proof something bigger's at play. And the deeper you dig, the darker it gets. Disney's empire is built on flawless illusions, and when those illusions crack, they don't patch them, they replace them. Zegler was supposed to be their next princess, a vibrant new face for a modern era. Now, she's a liability. On Disney, they're pushing safer bets, animated sequels, nostalgic remakes, anything that doesn't spark rage online. It's a strategy they perfected: let the controversy burn out, bury the project, and move on. But erasing a star's profile isn't just about damage control, it's a message. And with Zegler staying silent, no apologies, no posts, no defense, it's hard not to wonder if Disney's pulling the strings or if she's stepping away herself. Rumors are swirling that she's been recast in other projects, like Paddington 3, with some saying the writers' strikes were just a convenient excuse to drop her. True or not, the pattern's clear. When a star becomes toxic, Disney doesn't negotiate, they erase. But there's another layer to this mystery. Let's talk about Disney's history of making problems disappear. Back in the early 2000s, a certain pop star was quietly phased out of Disney Channel projects after a string of tabloid scandals. No press conference, no official split, just a slow fade from promos and playlists. More recently, a Marvel actor faced similar treatment after legal troubles surfaced, trailers re-edit, posters redesigned, names scrubbed from credits. Disney Disney's playbook is surgical. Step 1, let the controversy explode. Step 2, stay silent. Step 3, quietly remove all traces. Step 4, pivot to safer content. Right now, they're on step 4 with Zegler, flooding Disney with trailers for Mufasa and Moana 2, projects that don't carry the same baggage. But what makes Zegler's case stand out is the speed and scale. Erasing a princess, the face of a billion-dollar legacy? That's not just a business move, it's a power play. And fans are starting to ask, what's Disney hiding? The speculation doesn't stop at Disney. Whispers from industry insiders suggest the studio might be working on something even bigger behind closed doors. Some say they're exploring an alternate cut of Snow White, one that sidelines Zegler's role or reworks the story to appease angry fans. Others claim Disney's considering a full reboot, maybe animated, to salvage the franchise without her. These are just rumors, mind you, nobody's got receipts yet. But the idea is not as far-fetched as it sounds. Disney's done it before, digitally altering films post-release or pulling content entirely. Remember Song of the South? It's locked in a vault, never to see the light of day on Disney. Snow White could face a similar fate, quietly shelved to avoid more backlash. And if that happens, Zegler's erasure wouldn't just be digital, it'd be permanent. But there's one more piece to this puzzle. What's striking is Zegler's own silence. No tweets, no Instagram stories, no heartfelt posts thanking fans or co-stars. In the world of Hollywood PR, where every move is calculated, that's not just odd, it's deafening. Some fans think she's laying low, regrouping for a comeback with a new team. Others wonder if she's been muzzled, either by Disney or her own choice, to avoid more heat. There's even talk she's planning a tell-all, a bold move to reclaim her narrative. But without a team, a platform, or a studio backing her, she's alone in a way few stars survive. Her co-stars aren't speaking up, her former publicists aren't spinning the story, and Disney's acting like she never existed. In an industry where perception is everything, that kind of silence can be a death sentence. But is this really the end for Zegler? Let's zoom out for a second. Disney's not just a studio, it's a brand machine, obsessed with control and perfection. When a star like Zegler becomes a lightning rod, they don't negotiate or rehabilitate, they pivot. And right now, they're pivoting hard. Snow White's absence from Disney isn't just about a flop, it's about protecting the Disney princess legacy. Snow White isn't just a movie, it's a symbol, the first of its kind, the one that started it all. Tainting that with a controversial lead and a hated reboot? That's a risk Disney won't take. So they're doing what they do best, rewriting the story. By erasing Zegler's profile, they're sending a message to fans, investors, and the industry: we're moving on. But moving on from what, exactly? That's where things get murky. Some fans are digging deeper, pointing to Disney's broader struggles. The studio's been under fire for years, caught in a tug-of-war between fans who want classic stories and critics who demand modern updates. Zegler's Snow White was meant to bridge that gap, but it fell into the void instead. Her comments about the original story didn't just alienate fans, they tapped into a bigger cultural debate about remakes, representation, and respect for tradition. Disney's response? Cut the cord. By wiping Zegler's profile and shelving the film, they're avoiding another round of that debate. But at what cost? Fans are already noticing other projects getting the same treatment: smaller films, controversial shorts, anything that risks bad press. Is Zegler's erasure just the start of a bigger purge? Then there's the human side of this. Zegler wasn't just a name on a poster, she was a young actress, barely in her 20s, thrust into a role that carried the weight of a century-old legacy. Her rise was meteoric, from a viral audition tape to starring in West Side Story to landing Snow White. But with that rise came pressure to be perfect, to represent a brand, to navigate a minefield of fan expectations. Her missteps weren't just mistakes, they were amplified by a fanbase ready to pounce and a studio quick to cut losses. Some fans feel for her, arguing she was set up to fail, handed a divisive script and left to fend for herself in interviews. Others say she dug her own grave, letting her unfiltered opinions overshadow her talent. Either way, the fallout's real, and it's not just about Disney. So, where does this leave Rachel Zegler? Her fairy tale's taken a dark turn, but it's not over yet. Some believe she could bounce back, maybe with an indie film, a viral single, or a strategic rebrand. Others think Disney's erasure is the final nail, a signal that Hollywood's moving on. The industry's brutal like that. One day you're a princess, the next you're a ghost. Zegler's silence only fuels the mystery. Why hasn't she spoken out? Is she planning a comeback, or is she licking her wounds? And what about Disney? Are they prepping a new Snow White, a safer bet to win back fans? Or will they let this chapter fade? read, hoping time buries the controversy? One thing's for sure, the internet won't forget. Fans are still posting, theorizing, and screenshotting every clue. Here's the real question. What's the truth behind Zegler's Disney blackout? Is she the victim of a ruthless studio, erased to protect a billion-dollar brand? Or did her own choices, those viral interviews, that flopped film, the Broadway chaos, make her too toxic to keep? Disney's silence is louder than any headline, and Zegler's absence screams something's wrong. Fans are left chasing answers, but one thing's crystal clear. In Hollywood, you don't need a firing to disappear. You just need to be forgotten. Will Zegler fight back, rewrite her story, and reclaim her crown? Or is this the end of her fairy tale, a quiet cancellation disguised as a glitch? That's the question nobody's answering, but it's the one everyone's asking. What do you think's really going on? Drop your thoughts below, because this story's far from over.